welcome back to Chicks and Balances. I'm Camille.
And I'm Lauren.
And we're the chicks trying to keep this effing world balanced. We're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. But first, let's talk about Lauren's summer trip. Hey, Lauren, how was Sweden?
Well, Sweden was excellent, particularly because it was not America, especially America right now. Funny though, like I speak a lot of Swedish. I'm not really fluent. I'm very conversational. But in the news, you hear a lot of Swedish language, and then you'll hear the word Donald Trump. And then you'll hear a lot more Swedish language, and then you hear the word Jeffrey Epstein, and rinse and repeat. So it's definitely on everybody's minds over there. But they're also kind of in this, we see you, we've got you, whatever you need, little brother. Mm-hmm. There's a saying over there, and I'd never heard it before. It was saying, when America sneezes, the rest of the world catches the cold. And I thought that was super interesting because they really are concerned. It's less of a, they're mad. They're pissed. They're watching us and they're pissed. But they're also concerned. So anyway, that's what I...
Well, they should be concerned. Meanwhile, our president is under, his mattress going la, 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 la.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he doesn't want anyone talking about it. But that's the very reason we need to keep talking about it.
Absolutely.
It's disgusting, okay? Not only is it disgusting on its merits, it's a guy that was pimping out little girls. Like we're talking 11, 12, 13-year-old girls, pimping them out.
Aside from all of the things that have been going on, the thing that seems to be hanging up the MAGA community all of a sudden, more than anything, is the Epstein.
Yeah, which is so odd because they voted... Let's just be honest, they voted for a rapist, and now they're upset that a rapist is trying to cover his tracks. I asked a friend of mine who is a former investigative reporter. She shall go unnamed. I asked her to do a little research into who exactly is Jeffrey Epstein. Like, what really do we know about this guy? Here's some of the stuff she came up with. He's from Brooklyn, New York. I think we all kind of knew that, right? He's very middle class. Both of his parents worked. I think his mother was a homemaker, but she also worked like at the school as a counselor or something. And his father worked for the parks department. Very middle class. He has a brother. So there was only 2 kids in the family. His brother's name is Mark. His brother is still alive. And actually is beginning to kind of make statements here and there about all of this. He attended public schools. He's a college dropout. He went to NYU for a little bit, but he never graduated. I don't know. He may have made it through maybe his sophomore year. So here's a college dropout, okay, who somehow, and this is where it starts getting interesting, somehow gets a job as a math instructor at a pretty prestigious private school in Manhattan called the Dalton School. Guess who hired him for this job? Guess who hired a man to be a math teacher without a college degree at this job?
Who?
William Barr's father.
Oof.
Recall that William Barr is Trump's former attorney general for the whole United States, okay? So his father's the one that hired Jeffrey Epstein. I find that quite coincidental.
Well, I think let the long-reaching tendrils of all of the things, if you want to talk about conspiracy, these are facts.
These are facts.
Follow the facts. That's you can't write that.
Exactly. And I will put up my friend's sources for all of these things that she has unearthed. I mean, I didn't know this. Maybe it's common knowledge, but I did not know this about William Barr's father. And it's just funny how every step along the way of Jeffrey Epstein's illustrious career, there's a name that we recognize guiding him along, like William Barr's father, whose name was Donald. Say now, there's another. So we know that. I guess my question is, how does a college dropout who gets a job without a degree, and then apparently is fired from his job for quote unquote poor performance after William Barr's father retired from this job, then Epstein gets the boot for poor performance. I don't know what that means. Maybe he was late to work every day, or maybe he was already displaying some of his disgusting predilections for young women at this time.
Yes.
So how does a guy who's fired from his first job find his way to Bear Stearns in Manhattan? Because that was his next job, Bear Stearns. without a college degree and with already a mark on his, already
Record.
on his CV. I find it interesting, to say the least. He made a name for himself at Bear Stearns, and I guess the chronology is when Bear Stearns collapsed during 2008. He gets hooked up with Les Wexner, who's the guy that founded the Limited stores and Victoria's Secret. And and Les Wexner, who's a multi billionaire, still alive, mind you, hires Jeffrey Epstein to be his personal finance manager for his entire personal wealth. So Jeffrey Epstein forms a company just to manage that, and I'm sure he has his fingers in other pies too. But I just find it so interesting.
Things that make you go, hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just sidebar, isn't Les Wexner a Superman villain?
Ah, that is true. I believe it's Lex Luthor.
Oh, it is Lex Luthor. You know what?
Actually, Wexner's better.
Wexner's better.
Les Wexner.
Les Wexner. It's
Two
hard
X's?
to say. Yeah, it kind of messes you up just trying to say it.
I know it.
I think he makes that's a really good villain name. Let's go with that. Les Wexner.
Les Wexner.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
I actually don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah.
FYI.
No.
I don't know if you know that about me. So here's some more facts in no particular order that my friend so lovingly sent my way. It was very, very nice of her to do this. Apparently, one of Epstein's original partners was a gentleman named Steve Hoffenberg. And he said before he died that there's no way Epstein would have committed suicide. But he did admit that he and Epstein were taping videos for blackmail purposes, quote unquote, honey trap videos. And this Hoffenberg was like a mentor of Jeffrey Epstein's. But he was apparently busted in a huge Ponzi scheme fraud, admitting to swindling thousands of investors. He claimed Epstein was actually the architect of the scheme, but Epstein was never charged.
Wow.
Once again, Epstein never is held to account. This gentleman, Steve Hoffenberg, died in 2022 at 77 years old. He was found in his apartment. His body was so decomposed, they had to identify him by dental records. Oof. And he had cooperated with the FBI and spoke out about Epstein's alleged connections.
Wow.
I think before this is all over, if we ever really see these files, it will be shocking, not only at the base of it, which is child sex trafficking, which is shocking enough. I really think we're going to find out really, really hair-raising things that we hadn't even thought about. So another thing that my friend dug up, and this is kind of common knowledge. It's about Virginia Roberts Giuffre. She was the original person that came forward and talk about courage. Wow,
Brave.
That takes a lot of freaking courage to come out against some of the most powerful people, not just this country, in the world. I mean, we're talking the British royal family.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's the one that kind of kicked this ball off and certainly gave it a human face. You know, she committed suicide just a few months ago. And her father has come out and said, no way.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm not sure how she quote unquote committed suicide, but there's no way.
No.
And I don't believe it either, because she was married. She had found a new life for herself in Australia. She had children, and she was just getting ready to head out on a book tour. She has a book out now that I believe clearly has been published posthumously. So here's some of what my friend came up with. Giuffre was seriously injured in a car accident in March of this year, details of which her publicist declined to comment on. She died a month later, quote unquote, suicide. Her father says there's no way. And apparently the investigation's ongoing in Australia. You know, I don't want to sound conspiratorial, but I don't know.
I don't either. It's a lot of, all roads lead to something very sinister looking.
I agree.
I do find it very, 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 very brave of these girls to have come forward against all odds, against the powers that be that they're coming up against.
The very minimal that Trump could have done to maybe this wouldn't be such a big deal if he'd acted like a human being and said, I am so sorry for these young ladies. This is horrible, if he had displayed even
A modicum.
a modicum of sympathy, which of course we know he can't do,
No.
but even he could pretend, he could play act.
Yeah.
But no. And now he's saying it's all a hoax.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry. Coming forward as a woman in the United States and claiming that a powerful man has abused you, I'm sorry, it doesn't get you very far.
Right.
It really is not
Right.
it's not the road to Bali.
No.
Or that's a Bing Crosby road movie.
That is a Bing Crosby movie. But you digress.
This is not the road to riches, my friends. This is the road to ruin. It really is. So you got to think, these women, this is true courage.
Well, now the victims themselves, and I'm absolutely here for this, the victims themselves are saying, hang on, we don't need the Epstein files open. We have the names.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone is freaking out. Let's be clear. So they don't really need the files.
No, they really don't. And frankly, I love that.
I do too.
Talk about taking power back.
They have the names.
Yeah.
They don't need your files. So
They do.
it's pretty interesting.
So to kind of wrap this up, it's a horrible, yucky topic. It's so gross. But we have two things that we would like to draw your attention to. And one of them is talk about this scandal a lot, because Trump doesn't want it talked about. Call your senators, call your congresspeople and say, I want those files released. Well, there's three things they can do. Buy Virginia Joffre's book. And third, make a donation to a pro-childhood nonprofit. Some suggestions are Save the Children. We'll put these in lower thirds. We'll also put it on our website. Save the Children, UNICEF, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. And if you're in the Dallas area, which is where we hail from, the Vogel Alcove is a wonderful charity that takes care of children of the unhoused. And we hope to see you again soon. Maybe we'll talk about something cheerier next time.
Like nuclear meltdown or something. Who knows? It could be fun.